Okay, real talk. You've got $5,000 sitting in a savings account right now, and every single month you look at it and you feel good. You feel safe. You feel like, yeah, I'm being responsible. I'm an adult. I have an emergency fund. And then you check the interest you earned last month and it's $2.47. $2.47. Meanwhile, inflation just quietly stole about $25 worth of purchasing power from that same account. So, you're not actually keeping your emergency fund safe. You're slowly losing it. And here's the thing, most people have no idea this is happening to them. Here's what I want to talk about today. What if that same $5,000, your safety net, the money you're not supposed to touch, could realistically grow to $50,000 in 3 years without putting it at risk? No stocks, no crypto, no invest in my course nonsense. I know that sounds almost too good. So stick with me because the math here is real and the strategy is something most financial advisors honestly don't bother explaining. So let's start at the beginning because I think a lot of people misunderstand what an emergency fund is supposed to do. The standard advice, and you've heard this 1,000 times, is save 3 to 6 months of expenses. Keep it liquid. Keep it accessible. Don't invest it. Fine, that part is correct. But here's where the advice stops, and this is the problem. Nobody tells you where to put it. So most people just park it in a regular savings account at whatever big bank they've had since college. Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. And as of right now, those accounts are paying somewhere between 0.01% and 0.05% APY. That is not a typo. 0.01%. On $5,000, that's $5 a year. $5. Now compare that to a high-yield savings account, and we'll get into the specifics in a minute, but the national average for those right now is hovering around 4.5% to 5% APY. On that same $5,000, that's $225 to $250 in the first year alone, just by moving the money. Same money, same liquidity, same FDIC insurance. Here's what most people don't realize. The location of your emergency fund is a financial decision, just like any other. And making the wrong location choice is costing millions of people hundreds of dollars every single year. Now, you might be thinking, Miles, if it's that simple, why doesn't everyone just do it? And this is where it gets really interesting, because the answer isn't laziness, it's psychology. There's this concept in behavioral economics called the status quo bias. Basically, our brains are wired to treat the current situation as the safe option, even when changing would clearly benefit us. Moving your money feels like a risk, even when staying put is actually the bigger risk. Your brain is lying to you, and it's costing you money. And the banks, they know this. They count on it. That's actually a core part of their business model, collecting billions in deposits from people who are too comfortable or too overwhelmed or just don't know better, and paying them next to nothing while lending that money out at 7%, 8%, 20% interest. So the first mindset shift you need to make today is this. Inertia is not safety. Doing nothing is a choice. And right now, it's an expensive one. All right, this is the part I actually get excited about, so stay with me here. The strategy is called a cash ladder, and it's how you take one pool of money, your emergency fund, and turn it into a systematically growing, multi-layered wealth-building machine, without touching your actual emergency access. Here's how it works. You split your money into 3 tiers. Tier 1, your true emergency cushion. 1 month of expenses, maybe $1,500 to $2,000 for most people. This stays in a high-yield savings account, completely liquid. Touch it whenever you need it, no questions asked. Tier 2, your buffer layer. Another 1 to 2 months of expenses, maybe another $2,000. This goes into a money market account or a short-term CD, something like a 3-month or 6-month certificate of deposit. Still very accessible, but earning more because you're committing to a slightly longer timeline. Tier 3, your growth layer. This is where it gets powerful. Any amount beyond your core emergency needs goes into a 12-month CD ladder or Treasury bills. Right now, 12-month Treasury bills are sitting at around 4.8% to 5.2% APY, and they are backed by the US government. That's not risky. That's as close to guaranteed as money gets. So let's do the actual math, because I think this is where people's jaws drop a little. You start with $5,000, you build your ladder, you're earning an average blended rate of, let's be conservative, 4.5% across the full amount. That's $225 in year one. But here's what's crucial. You're also adding to this. If you commit to saving just $800 a month, and I know that sounds like a lot, but we'll talk about how to find it, and you keep reinvesting your returns, by the end of year 3, you're looking at somewhere between $34,000 and $38,000, just from disciplined, safe savings. Now, and this is where the $50,000 actually comes from, if you slightly optimize. If you catch a few CD rate cycles, if you stack a tax-advantaged savings vehicle like an I-bond alongside this, if you bump that monthly contribution to $1,000 in year 2 because your income grew, the compounding accelerates fast. We're talking a realistic path to $50,000 in 36 months. And none of this involves the stock market. None of this requires you to learn options trading or buy a rental property or do anything that makes your stomach drop. Okay, so let me give you some actual names because I hate when financial content is all theory and no action. For high yield savings, right now the top options include accounts from SoFi, Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Ally, and American Express National Bank. Rates change, so always verify before you open, but these have consistently been at the top of the list. All FDIC insured, all accessible. For Treasury bills, you go directly to TreasuryDirect.gov. You do not need a broker, you do not pay fees, you buy them directly from the US government, and the interest is state tax exempt, which is an extra bonus most people completely overlook. For I-bonds, and these are a little different, you can also find them on Treasury Direct. They're inflation adjusted, capped at $10,000 per person per year, and they require a 12-month hold. So they're not fully liquid, but they're incredible for that Tier 3 growth layer. Here's what most people don't realize about the tax side of this. The interest you earn in these accounts is taxable at the federal level, so you want to be tracking it. If you're earning $2,000 or $3,000 a year in interest, that's going to show up at tax time. Not a deal breaker, but know it's coming so you're not surprised. Now, I promised you a custom calculator situation, so here's how you build your own version of this plan in literally 5 minutes. Grab a piece of paper or open a spreadsheet, whatever works for you. Write down 3 numbers. Number 1, your monthly essential expenses. Rent, utilities, food, minimum debt payments. That's it. Be honest. Number 2, 3 times that number. That's your full emergency fund target. Number 3, your current savings balance. Subtract number 3 from number 2. Whatever that gap is, that's your phase 1 goal. Fill that gap first. That is job 1. Once you've hit your full emergency fund target, every dollar beyond that moves into your growth ladder. Every single dollar. And here's the monthly savings question, because this is where people get stuck. Miles, where do I find $800 a month? And look, I'm not going to pretend that's nothing, but I want to challenge you on one thing. Before you tell me you can't find it, audit your subscriptions this week. Audit your food spending. Look at your insurance rates. Most people I talk to find $200 to $400 a month they didn't know they were losing just from that exercise alone. Combine that with any income increase, any side income, any tax refund, and $800 becomes a lot more realistic than it feels right now. Look, I want to be real with you for a second. The reason most people never get from $5,000 to $50,000 isn't because they don't make enough money. It's because they don't believe the boring, unsexy, slow and steady strategy actually works. They're waiting for some big opportunity, some investment that goes viral, some moment where it all suddenly makes sense. And so they do nothing. And their $5,000 earns $2.47 a month. The people who actually build wealth, they're not smarter than you. They're not luckier than you. They just made a decision to stop treating their savings account like a waiting room and start treating it like a system. Your emergency fund is not just a safety net, it's a foundation. And with the right structure, it's the first real step towards something that actually changes your life. So here's what I want you to do right now. 3 things before you close this video. 1. Check your current savings account interest rate. Right now. I'll wait. 2. Open a high-yield savings account if you don't have one. Takes 10 minutes. You can do it on your phone. 3. Drop your current savings balance in the comments. No judgment. We're all starting somewhere, and I genuinely want to see where you're at today versus where you're going to be in 3 years.